your sales.
Session. We think
you enjoyed your refreshment. So, now it is high time to enhance the grace of his conference, initiated by word of novel ideologies in the field of educational studies. She is none other than Associate Professor Jamalia Abdul Hamid, a veterinary scholar who has changed the way of contemporary education in India. So, I cordially invite the senior lecturer of the Department of Marketing Management, Dr. Vilasmaya D. Silva, to provide a comprehensive introduction on this iconic scholar. I cordially invite the senior lecturer of the Department of Marketing Management, Dr. Vilasmaya D. Silva, to provide a comprehensive introduction.
Good morning again, welcome back to the session. And I'm pleased to welcome you all again, Chief Guest, Vice Chancellor Sabaragamuwa Sri Lanka, all eminent professors who are present here today to grace our occasion to disseminate their knowledge, and valuable spouses who have backed us strongly, eminent other professors, ladies and gentlemen, my academic colleagues and students. I'm very much pleased and privileged to give a brief and valuable introduction to other professors, ladies and gentlemen, my academic colleagues and students. I'm very much pleased and currently an associate professor in the faculty of other professors, ladies and gentlemen, my academic colleagues and students. I'm very much pleased and currently an associate professor in the faculty of other professors, ladies and gentlemen, my academic colleagues and students.
Student leadership diet. Her experience as a professor and 18 years experience working as a deputy director in various divisions in the Ministry of Education. Student leadership joined the university has enabled her to develop the curriculum content of the leadership courses offered in the university. The ministry divisions Dr. Jamalia has worked in with the curriculum development working as a deputy director in various educational leadership in the Ministry of Education and the Education Leadership Technical and Vocational Division has enabled her to develop to her curriculum content of the managed courses offered in the university. She also has the ministry divisions another expertise in the area educational leadership of knowledge management and the education leadership as a natural extension of how organizational management can benefit from information knowledge management. She was the deputy director of the Knowledge Management Center of University Putra, Malaysia in 2006. In this latter capacity, she planned and implemented the development of the knowledge and use of knowledge in the university. She has been an invited speaker on knowledge management in several seminars organized by local and international agencies, and has also conducted training on knowledge management strategies locally and internationally. She delivered national agencies specific knowledge management, architectural training,
and knowledge using workforce, client customer management, and human resources management for Anti-Corruption Agency, Malaysia and Malaysian Civil Services, Senior Officer Strategy meeting. And she has also led several teams in several knowledge technology innovations, including automatic systems for multifaceted stock appraisal and automatic extraction of knowledge ontologies from text. Dr. Chawale obtained a bachelor and master's degree from Indiana University, USA, and her PhD degree in educational administration from the University Cambridge, UK. She has published several books and articles, led research projects, presented papers, supervised doctoral and master's research, and examined theses in educational administration, leadership, and knowledge management. Madam, we are awaiting to share your knowledge with you. Please come and share your knowledge with us. You are most welcome to our session and to our country. Thank you, madam. Thank you, everybody. Share your knowledge. Please come and share your knowledge with us. You are most welcome to our session and to our country. We are awaiting. Thank you, everybody. Share your knowledge. Please come and share your knowledge. You are most welcome to our session and to our country. We are awaiting. Thank you, everybody. Share your knowledge.
Good morning, dear Honorable Vice Chancellor, Ms. Samantha. Thank you very much for inviting me. And thank you as well to the Dean of Executive Management, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Ms. Samantha. Thank you very much for inviting me. And thank you as well to the Dean of Executive Management this morning. But rather than argue the case for either form of change, which I don't think is the forum that we have here today, I shall attempt instead to delve in the issue and sometimes also emergent obstacles to may fully appreciate the extent of knowledge gaps that exist in the underpinning MOOC philosophy, and say that the change really together in line with the current expansion of research in MOOC. We hope that the university as well will benefit and join us in the research platform on MOOC as a disruptive or sustainable change. So we have that MOOC, a sustainable or disruptive innovation in higher education. All right. So you have that MOOC, massive online and open courses. What it means to say online is what you translate or transfer your normally hard copy into a database the university has, which the students download on intranet, which is available to your university alone. But then you also have got develop and use resources on the web, and so you have open courses. Okay? So, Christensen, Anthony, and Rowe in 2004 wrote about sustaining and disruptive organizations benign or reductive changes are ones, often small steps of performance improvement, help to improve the function of the organization in ways that are consistent with its previous activities. For example, putting lecture handouts on a learning handouts board rather than expecting students to pick up a physical copy from an office is an example of sustaining change. And I think we all do that, so it's really sustaining change. On the other hand, the spectrum is disruptive change, which is the ability to innovate products and services that shake up and reshape the market, because they're leaner, not so sophisticated products and services are cheaper, more readily accessible, and in the end, these innovations disrupt and take over the existing market of higher education. In Western countries and even in Malaysia today, MOOC is really a competitive platform because it offers an alternative way of servicing higher education to the mass. It's cheaper, it's online, and you can do it at your own, you can do your program of study at your own pace. So really it is a competitor in the higher education provision service in Malaysia and the rest of the world. MOOC initiates a power shift from established players in higher education, universities, to new startups and alternative providers of education service. These new providers take on the challenge of providing a universal forum for knowledge production and dissemination in rapid and connected ways. You see, as students share, put their project papers on websites. The immense level of sharing of undergraduate papers flood this space. And with instant sharing, because this instant elevation of students as a knowledge developer, knowledge sharer, right from day one of their education. It's really pushing education, accelerating education and its clients to a universal international platform right from the first hour you start on your MOOC-based platform of learning. They recreate the meaning, MOOC recreate the meaning of education that's synonym to purchase service that is no longer the privilege of only the intelligent, the smart, and the rich. But instead, they provide service to liberate and celebrate education as part of everyone's passage in life. Disruptive innovation in education is part of a culture of societal empowerment because it is fluid enough to permeate through space and time and to transcend gender, race, creed, and religion to educate mankind to the last single individual in society. Yet, to my knowledge, there is a lack of evidence across differential national borders and across differential societal contexts to indicate the universality and borderless accessibility of we don't have much research coming from your context, Sri not information. So I contend to say that it is a use of factors. We need research to verify this. What factors in society would have to exist in order for us to create sufficient demand for MOOC in our society, if our society is to move on the same momentum as the rest of the world? MOOC celebrates the notion of self-education. Not moving on. MOOC celebrates the notion of self-education. The explosive amount of information on the web is a library of knowledge heaven, but it needs educated men and women to be able to search for relevant information from multiple web-based sources and to synthesize that knowledge into a meaningful and insightful knowledge. But little surprise that studies, for example, University of Pennsylvania 2014 survey of the institution's use of MOOC courses have shown that majority of MOOC users are those who already possess a bachelor's degree. That tells you of the level of ability which is required to assess MOOC. There are studies that also suggest that majority of current MOOC students are white males with a bachelor's degree and a full-time job. Again, that Havergal 2015, again, that tells you of the quite high level of expectancy or entry level required of MOOC. Against that background, studies by Coursera academics published in Harvard Business Review of 2014 also show abysmal stories of student completion rate as low as 6.8%. The rest of the students dropped out from the MOOC courses. Levin, the CEO of Coursera, as cited by Ditlow and Ditlow 2014, stated that while he sees the development of online courses will continue to happen, but that would yet be coming for quite a while. So self-education, he says, is not as easy as it is made to be through MOOCs. The preconditions of competent self-learning and self-education are themselves monumental. As noted by Hennessy, a board member of Google and Cisco in Times Higher Education 2013, there is a tendency to believe that learning is very simple. But it is not. Learning, in fact, is very hard. In MOOCs, not only is the individual expected to master the competence to navigate knowledge databases, but he must also demonstrate superior constructivist thinking and conceptualization skills, a focused learning span, and massive amounts of self-discipline to patiently build upon the threads of formal knowledge through the levels of taxonomy of information kept in different websites. The interface through which the individual connects with the material is the point of contact for knowledge transformation to happen. But the depth and quality of that knowledge transformation inevitably depends on how extensively the material is understood, assimilated, and synthesized by the individual learner. How much of it makes any sense, and how much is transformed to become schemas of knowledge rests on the quality of learning skills brought by the individual learner. From an academic's point of view, like us, we worry that the foundation and development of formal knowledge through MOOCs will most likely take off among students who are already competent with the skills and the motivation for self-education. In the end, we may end up with ever-widening chasm of knowledge between competent and non-competent learners. So, on one hand, we are mooting an argument that MOOCs will democratize education. It will allow for larger accessibility of education. Anybody can access online databases. But on the other hand, if self-education indeed is very hard and demands a high level of knowledge competency skills, then what we might find in the future is a knowledge which is a society which has deeply etched and divided knowledge gaps, because each doesn't bring the same level of competency level in self-education. The reciprocal benefits of disruptive change is very persuasive. We have one, cheaper costs. We now have, in exchange of the more expensive, bulkier, content-laden curriculum of traditional learning in many of our universities today, and instead we have smaller packages of customized programs. People say, through MOOCs, now everyone can get an education. But, as I said, MOOCs demand implicitly that your learning style is 90% visual. Your seating tolerance, 80%, as you sit through and watch the computer. And you must know how to navigate through a database. And MOOCs would be particularly liberating if teachers are willing to let go of all their traditional learning theories about student learning styles and learning needs, which they all learn in teachers' training colleges. We all know that students have differential learning needs, kinesthetic, audio, visual, spatial, musical, and various other stimuli to trigger learning. And MOOCs attempt to transfer as many of these stimuli of learning to virtual inputs. And in doing so, tries to sidestep many of the concerns raised in learning theories. You see, this is one failure of technology when we don't have high skills I think we do need you to move on to So moving on. Today, it is imperative that we intensify research to explore how our learning needs of differential learning abilities are being met or not being met through MOOCs. So much of the hype has been about MOOCs providing for different abilities. People can assess, reassess, return to the same material for learning. But really, does MOOC really take into account the differential learning needs of our students? And we need to have new learning theories. We need to revisit. We need to revisit and perhaps even to re-theorize our theories of learning. Go back. I have to go back. Yeah. Why don't you sit here and then I will tell you when to move on. Move back. This is way ahead. Ooh. Right, the next one. Next one. Yeah, this one. Okay? So we are really sidestepping issues brought up on theories and learning, and we need to visit and perhaps even to theorize our theories of learning at a more innovative front. When parents today say, oh, our children these days, they are different from us. They learn so very fast. What are we actually saying? We as researchers need to promptly ask ourselves, what has happened to our theories of learning? How does our brain cope with this massive information on the web? And why do our children learn so fast? As educators and researchers in social science, we should be asking research questions such as, how are our behavioral, affective, psychomotor, moral, and ethical objectives aligned in the multiple paths of meaning-making each self-educating individual brings to the course? What theory ought we to propose to understand how constructivism of meaning is blended through virtual and physical inputs? We need to challenge our value and learn at an exponential rate through MOOCs. Can we dare say we could revise our learning theories and our education system to produce engineers at the age of 12 and Nobel Prize winners at the age of 15? Dare we claim that through MOOCs? So if we can claim that this exponential exposure to knowledge at an early age, asynchronous across time, it doesn't go through any sequence, then we can actually rectify our argument that we are able to build professionals as early as the age of 12. So we require new models of learning that complements the hierarchical levels of Bloom's taxonomy of comprehension, understanding, analysis, and synthesis and application. We need models of learning that enables us to service borderless assimilation of knowledge and spontaneous combustion of knowledge and insights, and to rationalize how lines of inquiry, systematic search, and meaning-making develop right from the first day of learning. In other words, we need a theory that explains the model of self-transformation. Next one. And we need a model of self-transformation in the context of virtual experience. Would the individual who is a product of MOOC's learning system be the icon of knowledge, competence, moral conscience, and compassion that we seek to create through our education system? How would graduates to the MOOC system be qualitatively different from those who graduate from traditional classes? How do employers respond to graduates from the MOOCs-enabled platform? And are these graduates indeed more marketable, more trainable, and more retrainable? So these are questions we need to research into. Unfortunately, we have depth at those kind of research questions. Which brings us to the different levels of purpose of education. The public AGIs, higher education institutions, are charged with the responsibility of educating the younger generation to help them acquire a holistic development so that they are able to successfully carve meaningful paths of achievement in their personal, social, and professional lives. Public AGIs are constantly improving upon faculty and campus activities to offer their students a rich environment of engagement and diverse opportunities to develop new life and career skills. The key word, my friends, is engagement. MOOCs replaces this tangible, physical, experiential environment of engagement in the campus with virtual, next slide please, with virtual albeit powerful representations of situations and events. One cannot discount the quantity of online exposure that is accessible to the web. In fact, it has been argued that since we have got so many walls being portrayed on the website now, being captured on YouTube, people should rightfully at this time be more concerned about not starting wars, because we see for a fact the atrocities caused by war. Okay? But it's not stopping anybody from this moral disengagement of civil rights. So, while on one hand we can argue that you have a quantity of online exposure which really exposes you to the depth and wealth of self-development, but you don't have research which otherwise prove the disablement of we don't have much research to prove the disengagement we finally achieve through this virtual presentation of realities. As social scientists, we have fallen far too behind in research that ought to have been filled by now about the knowledge gap that would explain and theorize our knowledge and character development through virtual science. Learning via virtual sites are really basically anonymous, and that is a problem with MOOCs. Even if you lose your individuality, you become a number in any online data-based learning. And very often, interaction and forums are brief and abbreviated because no one likes to spend too much time to write and in return to respond to pieces of communication communicated to them. Even I myself, as an educator, I get stung with a student who writes to me, Dr. Jamalia, could you explain to me about SEM model? Oh, come on, I'm not going to write SEM model in response to your question. So really, the learning space, even though we have an interactive forum, we limit what we communicate. So in the end, how do we, in these truncated virtual interactions, how do we develop holistic development amongst our students, particularly in AGIs? Already we know that our short messaging system, SMS today, has bred a different kind of generation who cannot spell, and who spell atrociously, and who have not mastered the appropriate form of greeting to various different kind of personalities and positions. So we've got that kind of generation now coming up, and it moves in an abbreviated form of forum for interaction. We wonder what next. In our endeavor, next slide please, in our endeavor to find the appropriate business model for MOOCs, we must be able to incorporate its role and outcomes within the holistic output of education. We need a strategic model that transforms MOOC into a system that is capable of delivering social transformation. In order to discharge its role as a societal empowerment tool through self-transformation, the proposed model for MOOCs ought to integrate users, students, providers, suppliers and providers, transforming agents, and also content providers in the form of teachers, to provide a holistic environment and template that will encourage self-transformation, societal empowerment, and social rejuvenation. This will be a far cry from the current business model that MOOC proposed in many literature today, which is product-based. Today, we need R&D in order for MOOCs to track how young users of MOOCs develop and construct active roles for themselves to contribute to organizations and society. We need tracking systems. We need to develop tracking systems of fields of knowledge to which they are assessing and to which they are contributing. We need to see the holistic development of our MOOC users in a more social rejuvenation and social empowerment kind of environment, rather than a profit-based. My experience of using MOOCs to teach undergraduate and postgraduate courses suggests that in the time constraints set by our public universities for term assessment, and next slide please, for term assignments, quizzes and exams, the act of web-based search and exploration is indeed a luxury. Few would do that on their own voluntarily. Okay? Hence, they limit their time and forums, they don't do much searches unless you give them credit for knowledge search. And the value of students' contribution to the course content and its development is undermined. They're using MOOCs to deliver your curriculum, but you're not getting enough feedback from your clients to enable you to improve on your content and its delivery and what the impact of the content is. So we don't have that duality of communication between providers, educators, and our clients, our students. Peter Drucker, next one, Peter Drucker, once said, I think it's one slide before, Peter Drucker. Yes, our students, Peter Drucker says, are knowledge workers. They develop their own knowledge anchors, and in that role, we must seriously consider research to explore ways to construct a taxonomy of students' feedback for the purpose of improving our content delivery and our content construction. We need to adopt research on the methodology of curriculum improvement decision-making based on the taxonomy of feedback from our student clients. That nature of feedback can be various. We need to research in alternative decision-making models that is bottom-up rather than top-down in order to influence the decision towards reforming the structure and contents and even the evaluation of our curriculum through MOOCs. Okay? At the moment, MOOCs have yet to explore research into this front of using or developing MOOCs on the duality communication platform where you use the input of students and their interaction, their keyword interaction patterns, their frequently asked questions to transform that into our curriculum review exercise. So what we're doing is we're reviewing our curriculum from a top-down perspective, what we think our students ought to learn. And we're not getting enough feedback from bottom-up. Ladies and gentlemen, some people claim that through MOOCs, everyone will have greater chances of success because in built with next slide please, pre-packaged learning modules that direct learners to many self-help programs on the web and online. There is much sensitivity. Before that, please. Next one. Okay. There is much sensitivity that exists at graduation now will be rapid because people just zip through the modular programs that are programmed on an online databases. And probably they will graduate with qualifications that are relevant to the job market because many of these modules prepared online are pre-packaged modules which cater to certain job requirements. So much sensitivity, much hope, much optimism there. On the other hand, their voices will decry the quality of short-rooted courses of learning, that this might compromise on content and mastery level of our students. Inevitably, the debate between innovator and steward of quality in education in HEIs is tied to accreditation equivalence. Accreditation equivalents are often judged by content, coverage, and quality of teaching staff. The more PhD you have, the better accreditation you have. But remember, by definition, MOOCs could, in theory, offer 10 times more content than any traditional curriculum. The amount of exposure is enormous. So it's quite ridiculous for us to say that traditional university curriculum is the best. It's a perfect vessel containing all the necessary form and structures of knowledge required for anybody to graduate with a particular expertise. So, given that platform, that MOOCs can actually potentially give you 10 times more information. And moreover, employers have demonstrated that retraining of young